All right, so this, in video 5, the purpose of me making this video is to show you two things. One, how to add more rope if you've come to the end of your piece and you really wish you could make it taller or wider, and you need to add more rope to it. That's one thing I'm going to teach you. And the second thing I'm going to teach you is how to end the piece of rope and just stop making the basket altogether and end it clean so you are finished. Okay, so first I'm going to show you how to add more rope. I call it splicing rope. If you know anything about electricity, they take two wires and splice them together, and that's basically what you're going to do with this rope. So you need to make sure that the end of your rope is cut on an angle, and the new piece of rope is also cut on an angle, so that then you can put these two pieces together like this. You need to already have a piece of tape, masking tape, cut and prepared. Okay, so I'm going to put that here on my finger so I can reach and get it quickly. I'm going to hold these two pieces together and then lay the tape across that join. And I am going to wrap the tape tightly around and smush down all the parts. Now, those two pieces of rope have been secured together, and so the next step would be that you just continue doing your 5 wraps. I think that was 3, 4, 5, and stitch. Okay, and you will continue and just wrap right over top of this rope, and no one will ever know it was there. No one will ever know that that join of tape is there. Okay, so it's that simple. Just keep going, and that way you can use more rope and make it taller. You can add more rope anytime you wish. Okay, now in this segment, what I'm going to show you is how to end the basket. And so what we need to do is continue covering over the end of this piece of rope while stitching it down. So it's a little bit different than what we've been doing, and at the same time, it's not that much different. So what we're going to need to do, or I'm going to need to do first, is thread my needle. Okay, and once students get to this point, what I do is just take the yarn, and instead of wrapping 5 times and stitching, I am stitching every single time. And as I go around, I'm trying to keep the yarn nice and tight so it's clean and it looks very even, and covering up all the pieces of the white part of the rope. And because it's cut on a slant, I feel like it makes a clean end to the basket. Because of that slant, it gradually goes from being thicker to thinner. You do need to make sure you have a good bit of yarn so that you have the length that you need to make this work. Then we are going to continue stitching. Just use your judgment. See how it's starting to kind of split apart? So I don't want to stop yet. I think I'll go back and insert my needle on some of these places where I didn't quite have enough and the yarn kind of slides down the slope just a little bit. So I'm laying it on purpose on top of the spots that didn't get covered. It makes it more secure, and it also makes it look a bit neater. All right, so now it kind of actually works out good too to be on this side rather than this one when you finish. So working your way back across without making it too bulky is smart. And then you're going to take this needle and you're going to place it in the groove between those two pieces of rope and force it through. Now sometimes if it gets super tight and you can't get it to go through, what I do is take the basket, and I usually have to do it on the edge of the tabletop, but and push the needle against the countertop to get it pushed through enough where I can grab a hold of it. I hope that makes sense, but whatever you need to do to kind of push this through. Some baskets it's tighter, some it's not. Okay, so as I pull this through, I'm gonna first try to figure out where my tail is and get it on out of the way. And then that way, when I pull that last piece of yarn through and it tucks under, it's hidden. No one knows it's there. I've bound the end down to the basket, and now I cut this as close as I can, and the basket is finished. Okay, so that's how we end the coiled yarn basket. And I mean, you know, as a teacher in my classroom in the past, I've usually done this for my students, but just because it's their final step, and it was easier for me to just go ahead and do it for them. But now that we have this video, hey, my students can probably figure that out easily themselves. And so I hope this has helped. If you have any questions, just let me know. And now you are a master.